You are working very hard to feel good. And the harder you work, the worse it gets. That should tell you something. Welcome to the Stoic Compass. I am Epictetus, and today I am joined by Carl Jung and Laozi. Today we are examining why does the pursuit of happiness so often produce the opposite? Here is the first problem. You have decided happiness is a destination. You have drawn a map, marked an X, and convinced yourself that if you just navigate correctly, you will arrive. But happiness is not a place. It is a condition of the soul, and the soul is shaped by what you judge, what you choose, and what you refuse to chase. The moment you make happiness the object of pursuit, you have already misunderstood what it is. You cannot hunt it. You cannot earn it the way you earn a salary. And yet, people spend entire lives doing exactly that, burning every resource they have in service of an arrival that never comes.
I do not entirely disagree with the destination problem, but I think you are stopping too soon. The reason people pursue happiness so desperately, the reason they are so convinced it is out there somewhere, is not simply a logical error. It is a psychological one. There is something within the psyche that genuinely cannot tolerate the present moment as it is. Something that insists conditions must change before contentment is possible. That insistence does not come from nowhere. It comes from a wound, often an early one, that taught the person that they were not enough as they were. The pursuit of happiness is often the pursuit of a self the person never felt permitted to be.
You are both diagnosing the same patient and arguing about which instrument to use. The simpler observation is this: pursuit itself creates the problem. The moment you decide happiness is something you must go and get, you have already placed yourself in opposition to where you are. And where you are is the only place happiness could ever exist. The chasing does not fail to catch the thing. The chasing is the reason the thing retreats.
Laozi, that sounds elegant, but it does not help anyone standing in their kitchen at 43, wondering why they have done everything right and still feel empty. Tell me what they are supposed to do with that. You cannot just say stop chasing. People need something to grip.
You are asking me to replace one form of striving with another. That is exactly the trap. The person in the kitchen does not need a new strategy. They need to stop treating the emptiness as a problem to be solved and start asking what it is actually telling them.
That is closer to what I would say the emptiness is informative. When the pursuit of happiness consistently produces misery, that is not a malfunction. That is the psyche communicating something the conscious mind has refused to hear. Most people are not pursuing happiness at all, not really. They are pursuing the conditions they believe will finally make them acceptable to themselves, to others, to some internalized judge who has been scoring their performance since childhood. Happiness becomes a proxy, a stand-in for something much older and much more personal.
So you are saying it is all about what is buried inside them. Fine, but what do you want them to do, Jung? Lie on a couch for 10 years and wait for an insight? People have to live. They have to make choices today, not after years of excavation.
I want them to at least look honestly at what they are actually chasing. That is not a 10-year project. That is a question you can ask yourself in 5 minutes. Why do I want this specific thing? Not the polished answer, the real one. When people finally ask that question honestly, many of them discover they do not want what they thought they wanted. They want what they believe it will make them feel about themselves. That is a very different problem, and it requires a very different response.
And the response cannot be another plan. That is what I keep trying to say. Plans assume that the future holds what the present cannot, but every moment you spend planning for future happiness is a moment you confirm to yourself that now is insufficient. You train yourself to be absent from your own life.
There is something right in that, and I will grant it, but let me push on it. You make it sound as though effort itself is the enemy. I do not accept that. There is effort that comes from clarity, from a person who knows what is in their control and works within it. And there is effort that comes from desperation, from a person grabbing at things outside their control because they cannot tolerate themselves. Those are not the same thing.
No, they are not the same thing, but most people cannot tell the difference from the inside. They call desperate, grasping ambition. They call compulsive striving drive. They have no language for the distinction you are making because they have never been still long enough to feel it.
Which brings us to a pattern I have observed repeatedly in clinical work and in the broader culture. There is a particular type of person who achieves exactly what they aimed for and is destroyed by it. Not ruined from the outside, ruined from the inside. They reach the destination and discover there is no one there to enjoy it. because the self they neglected, the inner life they sacrificed on the way to the goal, is no longer available to receive what was won. The pursuit consumed the very capacity for the satisfaction it was meant to produce.
That I recognize completely. I have seen it in every form. The man who disciplines himself into numbness. The woman who achieves perfect control over her circumstances and discovers she has controlled away everything that made her feel alive. Yes, that is real, but the answer is not to abandon discipline or effort. The answer is to understand what you are working in service of.
And to check, honestly, whether the working is still in service of anything or whether it has become its own justification. Many people pursue happiness because the pursuit itself gives them a sense of identity. Without the striving, they would not know who they are. The suffering that comes from that is not accidental.
That is a profound observation, and I think it cuts to something essential. The ego often clings to the problem because the problem is load-bearing. Remove it and something collapses. The pursuit of happiness, in this sense, is not really about happiness at all. It is about maintaining a structure that feels necessary even when it is destroying you.
All right, but here is what bothers me about where this conversation keeps going. You both keep explaining why people fail. I want to know what a person does differently. Explanation without action is just another kind of avoidance.
Sometimes seeing clearly is the action. You are treating insight and behavior as separate. But a person who truly sees what they are doing rarely continues doing it in the same way. The seeing changes the doing without force.
I have watched too many people see clearly and do nothing. Clarity is necessary, but it is not sufficient. You still have to choose.
Then perhaps the question is, choose what? That is where most people are lost. Not in the choosing, but in not knowing what they are choosing toward. They select goals that belong to the image they present to others, rather than the life they actually want to live. And then they wonder why reaching those goals produces grief instead of satisfaction.
Because the life they actually want to live is very quiet, and quiet frightens them. The pursuit of happiness is, very often, flight from stillness.
Then the stillness is where we need to go.
I think that is right, but I would add the stillness is not empty. What you find there is not nothing. What you find there is yourself, which is either the most welcome discovery a person can make, or the one they have been running from the longest.
The water does not try to fill the bowl. It simply settles, and the shape it takes is the shape that was always available to it.
Here is what I want the person listening to take from all of this. Stop auditing your life against someone else's map. The things outside your control, the outcome, the recognition, the conditions of the world, those are not yours. What is yours is the quality of your attention, the honesty of your judgment, and the integrity of your choices. That is it. Chase those and something real accumulates. Chase the rest and you will be exactly where you started, only older and more confused.
I would frame it this way. The person who finds happiness, which is to say the person who finds something like genuine peace and aliveness, is not the one who figured out the right strategy. It is the one who was willing to look at the parts of themselves they had been carefully not looking at. The wound underneath the ambition, the longing underneath the performance. When you stop managing your image of yourself and start actually meeting yourself, the frantic quality of the pursuit begins to ease. Not because you have found the answer, because you have stopped needing the answer as badly as you did.
When you stop insisting that things be other than they are, you notice that something was already here. It was here the entire time. The pursuit kept you too busy to feel it.
You have been listening to 3 people argue about what happiness is and why the chasing of it undoes you. That is worth something, but you need to decide what you are doing with it. Then stop just for a moment, not to summarize, not to decide, just to notice what is actually here before you move on to the next thing.
The reason the pursuit of happiness so often produces its opposite is not a philosophical riddle. It is a psychological fact with a very specific shape. When you pursue happiness as though it were a destination, you are usually not pursuing happiness at all. You are pursuing the feeling of being enough, acceptable, safe. And those needs have roots, deep ones, in experiences that happened long before you were old enough to name them. The strategies you developed then, achieve more, be seen a certain way, maintain control, those strategies felt necessary once. They may have even worked once. But carried forward unchanged into adulthood, they become the very machinery that produces the suffering you are trying to escape. The thing you are running toward is standing behind you. And the running is what keeps it there. This does not mean you stop caring about your life. It means you start asking a different question. Not what do I need to get to feel okay, but what am I carrying that makes okay feel so far away? You do not need years to begin. Today, try this. Take one goal you are currently chasing, something you believe will make you genuinely happier when you have it, and ask yourself one honest question. If I reach this, what will it prove? Write the answer down. Do not filter it. The answer to that question will tell you more about what you are actually pursuing than the goal itself ever could.
The pursuit will not stop just because you heard this. The pull is real, and it will return tomorrow morning. But now you have a question you did not have before. What are you actually chasing and why? Carry that question with you like a stone in your pocket, not to answer it immediately, just to feel its weight when you reach for the next thing. The clarity you are looking for is not at the destination. It was never there. It is in the choosing, done honestly, one choice at a time. If today's conversation has served you, take it further. Pay Attention by C. Trebu, 12 Lessons in the Practice of Seeing Clearly. Available now on Amazon.